I'm out of breath because I'm a fat guy. I want to apologize first for not having a whole lot ready for this week. It's been very hectic, and I just didn't have time to shoot anything. And honestly, the little free time that I had, I wasn't doing much. I was sitting here watching Glow on Netflix, and that's not very exciting. But I do want to get some things wrapped up. Last season ended with me buying some new shoes for the job that I was at the time. These. They were wide width, and I needed something that was going to help my feet because standing on them all day was killing them. I'm way too heavy, and the shoes that I had before just were just too uncomfortable. It turns out I need a wide width. My feet are fat just like me, and all these years I've been cramming them into regular size, regular width shoes. And these were like an epiphany to me. It's like, how did I not know? Why did I not think of that? But now I know. The good news is I'm not at that job anymore. I'm no longer in the kitchen. I work someplace where I sit down all day. The bad news is I work someplace where I sit down all day. Because of that, I've packed on several more pounds because I'm not active anymore. The other thing I want to wrap up from the first season is I was in the garage going through some stuff to find my secret object. This one has the most potential for finding the secret object. I see part of it already. My secret object is this: a gi that no longer closes and a belt that no longer fits. This is heartbreaking to me. I've gained more than 100 pounds since I moved back to Texas. The most I've ever weighed as an adult was 345 pounds. And then when I seriously tried to lose weight, I got down below 300, and then I started taking boxing classes, which led to kickboxing classes, which led to jiu-jitsu classes. And when I started jiu-jitsu, I fell in love with it. And I dedicated my life to it for just over a year. And during that time, I lost a lot of weight. I finally got below 300 pounds. I actually got to 232 pounds at my lowest. I learned a lot, and I cherish the time that I spent there. But it's something that I didn't keep up with, unfortunately. And because of that, I've led a very sedentary life and gained all this weight back and probably more. But that's a story for another time. Moving on. I have to admit, I like my job. And sometimes I really like my job. But I want to be able to love my career. And the only way I think I can do that is if I take control of it. And that's why I'm trying to build something. And when I say something, I don't mean like a physical thing that you can hold, like, I'm not trying to build this. I'm trying to build a joke and say I'm trying to build an empire, but it's not really a joke. I like making these videos and I like being creative. I've always wanted to be a filmmaker for as long as I can remember. And I've accepted the fact that that might not happen. I might not be able to make a feature film that you can go to the theater, pay money, and sit down and eat your popcorn and watch. And as much as that kills me, I'm okay with that. I still have this creative outlet where I can film things, edit it, and release it for the public to see. And while only, a dozen or two people look at it, that's fine with me. It's a creative outlet. I'm getting that creativity out of my system. And another thing that I've done is started a podcast with my cousin. We used to talk all the time and she would make me laugh. And, she had the idea of recording the conversations. And while it might sound arrogant to think that someone might be entertained by our conversations, we're trying to cater to an actual audience. We're taking that into account. It's not just us talking on the phone, although it is us talking on the phone. But I have to thank my friend Caesar because he's the one who suggested that I do a vlog like this. Vlogs have been around for a long time and I'm very late to the game. I'll admit that. But I never considered doing it. I never even thought to do it until he put the idea in my head. And like I said, this has become an outlet that I enjoy. A podcast never crossed my mind. To think that I could be on the radio was never even a consideration of mine. It was never a goal. And I'm not on the radio. But I did become a huge podcast fan during this time. And again, I never considered doing a podcast. I never thought that it was something that just anyone could do. And while not just anyone could do it, it's available for those who want. YouTube has democratized the film industry or the video industry, and podcasts have democratized the talk radio industry, if you will. But getting back to my friend Caesar, he did a podcast with another friend of ours, Jared, and while it was short-lived, unfortunately, I saw that it was possible. And I thought, hey, I want to do that. That looks like fun, and I think I can do that. I did a lot of research. I learned a lot in the process. And now I have a podcast with my cousin, my number 2 cousin. It's the number 2 podcast. I've talked about it a couple times on here, but it's something that I really enjoy doing, and it's something that I like doing with my family, a family member. I like the idea of building something with not just friends, but also my loved ones. So I hope that it becomes something, but if it doesn't, I'm still having fun. It's still a creative outlet. I'm learning new things that I can apply to my filmmaking and vice versa. I'm not an audio guy, so I edit the podcast in my video editing software. It's weird, but it works. It works for me. I wish I had something deeper to explain this week, but I'm rushed. This style of video is not something that I ever considered doing, just talking to the camera. I mean, I know I've done it here and there, but this can be fun too. This is a nice forum for me to talk, tell a little bit more about myself, open up more to you. If you ever have any questions for me, ask them down below. I'll answer whatever I can if it's not too personal. But while I have this forum, I want to thank somebody who has encouraged me from the moment that I decided I wanted to be a filmmaker. So many people who didn't mean to be discouraging would say things like, study something else, just have something to fall back on. And believe me, if you have something to fall back on in this industry, you're going to fall back on it. I did for more than a decade, and I regret it. But it's a learning experience. I learned from that mistake, although it took me 11 or 12 years. Here I am now, and I'm struggling, but I'm moving in the right direction. So I want to thank my brother, who never, ever once in my memory ever said that he didn't think I could do this. He never once said, hey man, just be safe, have a backup job. He would just start fantasizing with me about what I was going to do after I started making movies. He expected me to make a lot of money, and he was like, oh, you can buy this or that, or you can buy me this or that. And it was fun to play that game. And while it's unfortunate that I'm not able to buy him those things or buy myself the things that we fantasized about, it was a lot of fun and very encouraging. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, brother, thank you for always encouraging me, always believing in me, and always dreaming with me.